Hello and welcome to another episode of Foxcast. I am your co-host Putsy, here with Ward Wardenson, the greatest warden soldier alive. And for the third episode of Foxcast, we actually have a special guest waiting inside the bus. Mr. Special Guest, would you please come out?
It trapped me in here. I want out.
Woo! We managed to kidnap I Saw a Bear! 21,000 subscribers on YouTube, 2.1 thousand followers on Twitch. Currently Foxhole's biggest YouTuber. It is I Saw a Bear. He's been doing this for years. He's been here since the fucking beginning. He's what got Creepy Banana into the game, and he is actually... Yeah, he is the first Foxhole type content I ever saw, like, ever. So, yeah, huge respects. Big influence to the Foxhole community. Welcome, Mr. Bear. Welcome. How are you doing?
A good influence, I hope.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm doing okay.
Very good. So the way this is going to work, just for the audience, first 30 minutes we're going to ask I Saw a Bear about himself. It's going to be about him, his YouTube career, how he started, and, you know, just a couple more personal questions. It won't be too personal, it'll be fine. And then the second half, it will be about Foxhole and his opinions of the game. And yeah, we're just going to try and have a good time. So, I will start off with our very first question. Why? Why Foxhole? Because you've been here since the very beginning. You've been here since the graphics looked really, really shit. So what first brought you over to Foxhole?
Wait, they're better now?
Just for just for reference, yes, I am so old. In Foxhole terms, I actually predate all drivable vehicles in the game. I was literally playing the game before trucks were introduced. So yeah, it's been a while. Why? I was wandering around the halls of Penny Arcade Expo, PAX West in 2016, and I stumbled across August 2016, and I stumbled across this game. This had a little table set up, and it was called Foxhole, and I'm just like, oh, I know what that means. It's like a military term for like a, you know, an emplaced defensive position or whatever. And I sat down, I picked up, you know, the mouse and keyboard, and I started playing, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is interesting, top-down shooter, you know, whatever. And then one of the developers walked over to me. I don't remember who it was. It might have been HB or Allcast, but I don't quite remember. I honestly, looking back, I wish I'd documented a bit more of it. But yeah, and then he started explaining to me, it's like, oh yeah, this is Foxhole. We're planning to have a much bigger player count, and it's going to be like a persistent, you know, warfare game going on, you know, 24/7 kind of thing. And my first comment was, oh, so it's going to be like PlanetSide 2, which I'd been playing up to that point on and off. And he's just like, yeah, kind of like PlanetSide 2. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm sold. I know exactly what this game wants to be. I know what it can be. And at that point, I'd already been doing, you know, my YouTube channel for a year. Basically, first year I was doing YouTube and Twitch, my goal was, hey, let's see if I can get to 100 subscribers in a year. If I can't get that, I'll drop it. You know, no biggie. I tried, whatever. But I hit 100, and I went to PAX, saw Foxhole, and that's how it all began. And then I just kept doing it because every small goal I set myself, I kept breaking pretty quickly with this game, so no looking back.
God, I had no idea you predated drivable vehicles. What was Foxhole like back then without vehicles? Was it like one map? I'm trying to get like an image in my head of what Foxhole looked like in 2016.
So you can get an image really easily if you click the map key and you go to the Deadlands and you zoom in on Abandoned Ward. That's pretty much all it was when I played it. It was literally just Abandoned Ward and a little bit of the surroundings, and it looked nothing like it does now. So that was the PAX demo. Immediately after that, they updated the game, and when I got home in September, I installed it. At the time, it was kind of just like a free alpha trial, and then the map had been expanded to basically what's now roughly the plaza, somewhere between like Callahan's Passage, or no, Callahan's Boot. No, Callahan's Gate. I'm forgetting the names. It was basically a map that stretched from Callahan's Gate to Sunhaven or Sun's Hollow in Deadlands, and it was basically kind of just like a linear thing where one team spawned at either end, and then you basically fought over Plaza and Abandoned Ward. And yeah, it was very basic. It's just rifles, troops, pistols, a couple grenades, a few B-mats for setting up foxholes, and yeah, not even any vehicles. Logi was literally done on foot back in those days. Back in my day, we used to have to walk Logi both ways uphill. And we didn't even have hill physics back then. So yeah, it was a much smaller game, but it had the embers of what was to become a much larger fire, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you predated Logi Towns. That's insane. How many players were around back then?
It was, on at any given time, maybe. So here's the thing, and 82DK will tell you this as well. Back in the day, there wasn't enough of a player count most days to actually give the devs any useful information. So they used to do these things called weekly wars, and when they would get on basically on a Saturday, say, hey, here's a new quote unquote war starting. It's gonna last the whole day or the whole weekend. Duke it out. Here's a handful of new weapons or tools. Duke it out and see which team wins. And so, as I understand, 82DK basically started the whole Warden weekend, and because of the devs being like, hey, here's the war, it's starting Saturday, have at it, see who wins, kind of thing. So yeah, during the weekends, you saw maybe 30 to 50 players duking it out at any given time, but on weekdays, you'd be lucky to have 24 people playing the game. It was a smaller world, but it definitely wasn't as full as it could have been.
That must be crazy watching the game go from just Abandoned War to now. I think it's 37 hexes. The map has grown so big.
Literally, not even 37 times the size of the original world. It's 37 times 7, whatever number that is. I went into ecology. I'm not good at math. Yeah, no, it's been a long process. The devs work at a slower pace, but at the same time, I go back and I look at those videos every year. That I go back and look at the early videos, I'm just like, what the hell did I see in this game back then? Because it looks nothing like what it's become.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at some of the footage from 2017, even the trailer, the very first trailer for Foxhole I saw, it looks nothing like it does right now.
God, so much of that. I don't remember which. The original trailer, okay, I don't know this for a fact. I don't know how much of that original Foxhole trailer, the very first one they put up, I don't know how much of that was actually real versus faked. Because I do know they've shown it before, but they sometimes have really dumb little AIs just run around just in order to test.
They used to have AI?
Server stability. It's not true AI. It's basically just static characters that'll do animations just to test the server strain and whatnot. But I know for the Steam Greenlight trailer, if you look that up on YouTube, they basically got a bunch of players, myself included, to basically just come up with some combat scenarios and duke it out for 10-second scenes or whatever. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun to record, but man, it's funny now looking back at that, because those trailers, there was a lot of manipulation and faking just to get the point across, but now they could just fly around in free cam on any given day and they would find scenes like that without having to direct a single thing of it. So yeah, it's times have changed.
Times have truly changed. Oh my god, I had no idea you were that old, and I had no idea that Foxhole was that different back then. I thought it started off with just one map, as in one hex, and then it just slowly grew from there, but no, it's just Abandoned
No,
World.
It's as small as one territory, if you can believe it.
Goodness, yeah. Creepy, do you have any questions for Mr. Bat?
I have one singular question, which I will ask at the end.
Is
Okay, and I will give one singular answer when the time arrives.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be blown away. It's the best question, I'm telling you.
Oh my goodness,
All
you
right,
showed me a little bit.
I just
of it.
I'm
wanna-
just mentally preparing right now, so.
I also just want to give a thanks for accommodating my schedule for this, because I realize we're in like 3 completely different parts of the world right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the Pacific Northwest. Pudsey, you're in
East
Korea, is
Asia.
that correct?
Yeah, East Asia.
Yep. And then Creepy, you're in.
Belgium.
West Europe, yeah.
Western
Yeah,
Europe.
holy shit. And somehow this all works.
Yes, it
Yep.
did. We've managed to modify our schedule. Anything for you, Mr. Bat. Anything. But yeah, this brings me on to my next question. I know that Creepy Banana started off his kind of YouTube career after like watching you. And you just mentioned just now that you had a goal of you wanted to reach 100 subscribers, and we actually before the podcast we actually saw your very first video together.
Gosh.
It was we don't know what it was. It was some kind of rhythm game, like.
Yeah, it was that online rhythm game. What was it? Not Plink. What was it? Yeah, I'll try to remember the name at some point. Or I could just browse my videos. But yeah, I was just like,
Yeah,
that
Plink
was
tunes.
literally just me like, just finding, a little game. I'm just like, oh, this makes cool music. I'll just try to record a little bit of it, and that was more than anything a proof of concept. I would consider the damn translator, like the second video I ever made, like the PlanetSide 2 one. That's where I would consider the really start of me actually trying to do anything. It was Plink was what it was called. It's like an online
Plink tunes.
rhythm game where you could make music with other players, and yeah, that's kind of where I started. Yeah, well, the PlanetSide 2 one was kind of where I started getting the idea. It's like, hey, maybe I can do this, because again, like, I say this often, but obviously people don't know, people don't dig into my history as much or whatever, but my main actual real life work isn't as a YouTuber or Twitch streamer. That's more of just like a hobby that happens to pay out, scraps because it's YouTube. But I actually work as an ecologist in real life.
Oh.
But really, one of the big reasons I started doing YouTube was because I wanted to get some skills. I wanted to teach myself the skills to do video editing so that I could do, social media outreach. Because, a part of really any job these days is, social media outreach is huge for gaining funds or gaining support or, trying to educate the public about a certain thing. So and then I realized, like, hey, wait a minute, I have all of the equipment I need at home to do this kind of thing. Let's just, I don't know, give it a shot. Why not? And see what comes of it. And then, yeah, that was the inception of why I started doing YouTube. And then a year later, or 2 years later, roughly, I found Foxhole, and that became a whole other thing.
Now, you mentioned ecology. Is that where the name comes from? Because from what I remember through your community posts, there were quite a few bears and a lot of outdoors kind of stuff, and I thought you were just kind of like a outdoor kind of guy. But is that like your actual job? You look after bears?
So no, as much as I would love to, unfortunately, mainly what I do currently is what's known as invasive species restoration, where we'll take out, nuisance or invasive plants in our area, dig them up, toss them out, and then replace them with native plant species that are better for, birds, bees, bears to some lesser degree, but we're not specifically targeting bears as a species we're trying to restore areas for, especially because we work in a lot of like urban city areas, and that would cause a lot of problems both for the bears and for the humans. But so the name I Saw Bear actually comes from way earlier back when I used to play on Xbox Live in the 360 era. This is maybe slightly cringe, but I used to be a really big fan of the Rooster Teeth online web series Red vs. Blue. I used to
No.
carry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to watch that a lot as a kid, and then I randomly found a group of people on Xbox Live who were just like, who all had the names, like one guy was Simmons, one guy was Caboose, and yada yada yada. And eventually it got to the point where it's like, well, okay, I'm gonna change my username to something. What characters are left? And we just looked around. It's like, well, you can have Captain Flowers. I'm just like, well, I mean, okay, sure, whatever. Captain Flowers is okay. It wasn't my first choice, but whatever, it worked. But then afterwards, we kind of started, not being such big fans of that show after a while, and a bunch of us started changing our names. I'm just like, okay, I need to pick a new name, and I haven't talked to him in years. But the guy who had the username Simmons, I think he actually streams on Twitch still. Simmons135. I don't know if he wants a shout out, but I'm giving him one anyways. He might hate me for that. He's just like, well, you like animals. What's your favorite animal? I'm like, a bear, grizzly bear, obviously. Okay, so pick something that has a bear in it. So we're just like, okay, what's a good name with bear? The first obvious, funny name was bipolar bear. It's like, okay, that could be funny, that could be cute, but that was taken. We kept cycling through bear names on Xbox Live, and I couldn't find one. And he's just like, well, what's your experience with bears? It's like, I don't know, I've only just seen them. It's like, hey, well, do that. I saw a bear. And I typed it in and like, son of a bitch, it's free. Okay, sure. So that's literally Xbox 360 gave me the username that I go by everywhere now, is I saw a bear because it was available to take.
And so I saw a bear was born. Sometimes they call you Isoa Bear, as in sometimes I thought, I remember at the beginning I thought your name was Isoa Bear. Like, it was a play on words with Isoa, over in, I think, in the east.
That's a question I've never had answered, and I don't know if I want it answered, because I kind of like the mystery of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look on, what is it, Tempest Island? No, Godscroft, right?
Yeah, somewhere in the east, I don't know where exactly.
Yeah, if you look on Godscroft, there's the map, Godscroft, the lowest territory, or one of the lowest territories, is Isawa. It's just like my name, but without the bear, no spaces. And then below that, to the south of Isawa, is Ursa Trail, which Ursa is, of course, Latin for bear. So I've always wondered if that was a nod to me or not. I don't want to make it sound like it is, because I don't know.
The plot thickens.
But, like, I mean, it's pretty coincidental.
You know what? I just think it was just meant to be. I think it was completely coincidental, and it was like the forecoming of Christ, but instead it was a Foxhole YouTuber, which is very different. But I honestly,
hell nah, dude. This shit is planned as fuck, bro. What the hell are you saying,
no,
dude?
this is
the devs are winking at him.
Divine intervention.
I believe.
Dev
I
intervention.
believe.
Look, all I'm saying is it's not ego, because I've put like 1,000 hours into editing videos. Never mind my playtime.
I hope it's not towards you, because I honestly think you deserve it. I mean, you've been here before drivable vehicles, making videos, thousands, and that. I mean, a lot of us was actually exposed to this game because of you, including Creepy Banana and I, and I'm sure many, many more people. And so yeah, I mean, it'd be absolutely fucking great and well deserved for you to have at least a small nod within the game, even if it's coincidental. But I think it'd be cool if the devs did that on purpose. But who knows? Who knows? Matt never tells us anything about lore and everything. He has this whole naming system. But I hope it's definitely a nod towards you. This next question is it's not exactly Foxer related. It's a bit more personal. It's a question coming from me. So something I noticed.
I'll answer anything you want me to answer.
Thank you.
And then I will regret saying that.
I really need this though, because I've noticed from your streams you have a magnificent beard, and I noticed that Creepy Banana also has a really great beard. Helping Hands has a beard. Even Badman Larry has this whole bushy Santa Claus beard going on. Everybody, all the content creators I met or seen seem to have really amazing beard. I mean, Dury has a beard. Yeah, I think Dury has a beard as well.
Beard does have a beard, yes.
I've been trying to grow a beard, but every time it just looks so weird, and it like grows down on my chin, and it's. I wait for like weeks and weeks, but it stays at the same length where there's like still spots in between where it looks too sparsely populated, but still there's enough hair to make it look weird. So what are so from man to man, what are some tips and tricks to growing and grooming?
Are you asking? Oh my god!
I need this.
I'm gonna question the word choice, but okay. I mean,
how do you take care of your beard? How do you groom it? Do
you're
you cut
in
it?
university, right?
I'm in. I'm in high school.
Okay. Best advice I can give is wait a few years.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, to be fair, like, I didn't actually gain. Yeah, I didn't invest into my beard perk growing ability until, I don't know, I was 21, 22? Like, it actually came a lot later for me than I thought it would have, but, yeah, I don't know. I really don't have any
Just
particular advice on how to grow a beard. Yeah, I mean, I guess,
Blessed genetically.
you know, make sure you actually wash your face often. I don't know if that actually helps or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think beards are like plants. I don't think adding water makes it grow better, but
Oh,
maybe.
sure though. Add some bone meal, something.
I mean,
grow.
hey, look, it can't hurt to try.
Right?
It's just water and soap.
Yeah, make sure it gets enough sunlight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know. I just had to know because maybe that's the reason I haven't done a face reveal yet. Maybe it's because I'm ashamed of what's on my chin, which is absolutely fucking nothing.
You're 18, bro. Calm down. You'll have it in like 2 or 3 years, man.
Oh my goodness, I need to know because everybody around me has such cool beards. Do you know who Conrad
It'll
Medic
happen
is?
eventually. And you know what? Here's the other thing I will say though is even if you can't grow a full beard, or if you could grow, a beard but not in all the spots you want, just find a look that can work with what you're able to grow.
Okay.
I would say, there's, I mean, you can just look up pictures and get 1,000 different looks, and at least, a large portion of them, you'll be like, oh, you know what? I could pull a look off like that. There's always something for everyone.
Yeah, I just need to find myself, right?
Yeah, just give it time.
Oh, I just really want a beard. Do any of you know Comrade Medic? Do you know who that is? If you ever find somebody
Don't
called
believe I
Comrade
bumped
Medic,
into them yet.
he is the most Chad person in real life you'll ever see. Big Viking beard, like 6'7" something. He's tall. He has a fucking cape. He has javelins. He has spears. He bakes bread, and he brews his own mead in his backyard.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
how old is he though?
Wait, does he have like a red or orange hair?
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen him. He's on Twitch, right? Or he streams, right?
I don't know, but I've seen a couple pictures
then
of him.
maybe.
And he's the most domineering, most intimidating looking man. But then he bakes fucking bread, and I think it's the most adorable thing. So,
Baking bread is an
What?
essential
Oh,
skill for any Viking.
Yeah.
yeah,
Baking
and
bread is fucking. That's manly as fuck, dude.
he brews his own mead as well. Like, just I feel so emasculated just seeing people like that, and I want a beard. I think if I grew a beard, it'd be a lot better for me.
How old is he though?
I don't know. He's
You
like maybe 20 something. I don't know. He's
Okay, you know what? You know what
18,
though?
bro.
You know what though?
Just wait, it's fine.
Okay. There, as someone who's done a cosplay or two in my life, I don't think I've ever. Actually, that's not true. I've cosplayed one character with a beard, and that was Elder Maxim from Fallout 4. But every other character I've ever cosplayed has not had a beard, and I keep going like actually physically in person up to the artist and be like, "Can you please draw your specifically Gen Z from the Super Giant Team?" I'm like, "Can you please, when you make your next game, draw a character with a beard? I want to cosplay that character." And she's just like, "Yeah, but I like drawing guys without beards." I'm like, "Fine, whatever. Your games are amazing."
The struggle of having a beard and trying to cosplay. Oh, okay. Anyways, that was just a small rant. I just had to know because I was, it was something burning inside of me. I saw everyone with these really.
I mean, you
awesome,
can be very
fabulous
manly
beards.
without a beard. Have you seen like any of the characters from Hades? Actually, I guess most of them have beards, but Zagreus doesn't.
So I mean, I'll look into them. I'll see how I can emulate them and then be cool without a beard. But I don't know. I just think beards are so cool, and
Yeah,
I
fair
struggle
enough.
to grow one. But yeah. Anyways, back to you. Okay, so we're all of us here are content creators. We have some form of content based around Foxhole, and I think I'm the newest between the three of us, and
What? No, I'm the newest.
And yet, you know what? Pudsey, don't downplay yourself like that sometimes, because like, no offense to myself or Creepy Banana, but Pudsey, your content
hate
is
that guy.
much more original than the average YouTuber. I mean, how many YouTubers can really make original songs based off the games they're playing? Not very many. Like that actually takes some serious skill to do. Like, I'm always impressed that you can actually like, and correct me, I'm gonna ask you a question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you do for your songs? Do you do all of the voices in them and just kind of like pitch shift your voice up, or do multiple takes and then combine them together to make like a chorus, or do you actually have other people that you bring in?
So all the voices you hear are my voices. I'm very humbled by what you're saying. I just want to point out that
See,
none of them are
that
really
blows
original.
my mind.
None of them are really original though, because all of them are parodies.
Well, I mean,
In the early days, I used to use a lot of the original lyrics, but recently, with at least like the second half of my songs, or almost all, most if not all, the lyrics have been original, and I just sit down and writing the lyrics. I get some form of enjoyment of that, and as for the layering, I just take multiple takes through the mic. Sometimes I just go higher with my pitch, sometimes I go lower, and I just keep singing. I'm still learning though, because I don't know. I think if you're a professional
it's still
musician,
really impressive, especially as like a one-person, basically a one-person chorus. I mean, it kind of reminds me. You got shades of like the YouTuber, what's his face, Smooth McGrooves. Although, speaking of extremely manly beards, I mean, that dude.
Yep.
That dude has a beard, let me tell you.
Look, I grow a beard and I'll be unstoppable, okay? Just you wait. Just you wait. When I grow a beard, nothing can stop me. But yeah, but what I was gonna say is, I'm the newest, I'm still the newest, and there's still things that I'm learning as a YouTuber and as a content creator, things that both of you might have already gone through. It just comes with experience. I don't think it's like more of an originality or quality kind of thing. It's, I recently have been going through a couple hiccups where, I think every YouTuber goes through this. You lose motivation. There are times where you really don't feel like making videos, but at the same time, you feel almost pressured into making videos. And for you have, I believe, like 650 videos? You have a lot, 672. Yeah, 672 videos. And it looks fairly consistent, your upload schedule. So my question is, where do you find the motivation to wake up and make all these videos day after day after day? Do you ever get burnout? How do you deal with burnout if you get burnout? Just give a young YouTuber some tips. How do you do this?
Yeah, so I guess what I found, Pudsey, I'm probably gonna toss this question over to you too, because I am genuinely curious. But what I found was, right from the get-go, I just picked a schedule that wasn't too cumbersome that I knew I could stick with, and then I just stuck with it. Like, I used to not have this motivation at all in high school, but I found after university, I really began being able to get myself into good habits, whether it be, doing workouts or editing videos at a pretty consistent rate. But since I started my channel, I've always had, a one upload on Thursday, although I think it used to be Tuesday, but for all intents and purposes, one upload on Thursday, and then basically a stream upload on Sunday. And that way I'm, at the very worst, I'm forcing myself to do an hour, a half hour of editing per week, and then just upload a video. Like on some of the videos, I'm just like, this will kind of just be a filler video, which doesn't happen too often, but every now and again you just don't get the good footage. And see, that's the thing for me. It's more about getting good footage or a good moment, and then once I have a good moment or good footage, then my motivation is just like, I want to see the best version of what I've recorded, and that's me editing the video. That for me is what keeps. That for me is the hardest thing, is when I don't record anything that I would consider good footage. But yeah, I just picked a schedule and you could stick with, nothing too cumbersome, and sometimes I do more than 2 videos a week, and that's just when I have extra motivation, but I never push it that far. And again, this goes back to the whole ecology thing. This isn't my primary job, so it's not like I'm forced to do these things. This really is, as far as I can tell, a passion project. I mean, one that, get a little bit of lunch money on the side, but I'm not going to be buying any houses with it, that's for goddamn sure. And
Sorry,
actually,
did you hear that? My dog is barking.
Only vaguely.
Okay, give me a quick second, I'll be right back.
Actually, I'm curious, because Pudsey, Creepy Banana, you've also got, a pretty consistent upload schedule. What keeps you in it? Because you've been uploading pretty constantly for, what are we on, like 1-2 years now? 3 years?
Yeah, well, I used to have like one video a week, just keep it going. It didn't matter if the quality was good or if it was the best video ever. Recently, I've shifted it a little bit. I've been taking longer and longer making videos. Like currently, there's like a 3-week break already between my last and the one I'm working right now. And I'm just focusing purely on like putting out the best that I can instead of just worrying about like a date. Because I feel like that puts too much pressure on me. So I just go with the flow, upload it when it's ready.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. And honestly, as long as you keep the enjoyment in it, then whatever works for you works for you. I must say though, your thumbnails are way fucking better than mine. What do you use to make your thumbnails?
I just use Photoshop and a lot of watching other people's thumbnails.
Okay, because that's way better than me, because I'm still fucking using MS Paint.
I use Canva, so...
I mean, they're not bad softwares. It's just they're a little limited, but you can still make you can still get the same result, but it'll just take longer. Like currently, I work like at least like maybe an hour per thumbnail. So sometimes they're not good, so I have to like redo them.
Jeez, I don't know if I could ever commit that much time to a thumbnail, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just putting on a playlist and just go cracking at it. It's just
Something I noticed
actually,
about...
you know what? I'll be honest. I think the more complicated thumbnails I've made, actually, like the what was it? The r/place Reddit thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew I wanted something, a little bit more flashy. I actually used my video editor and just imported different picture elements, exported it out as a video, and then screenshotted the video.
What video editor do you use?
I use a video editor called VideoPad. It's probably not one I would recommend. But if you're a beginner, it's free, and then I just upgraded to the full version. So I'm like, I'm used to it. It'll work for what I need. Don't need to get too fancy.
See, that's something I also noticed with Creepy Bananas content is there's been an exponential increase in quality with his editing over the past couple of months, where he uses a lot of different elements. Yeah, you literally put mini animations inside your videos, bro. And
Yeah, I mean, you know why I do that, but
yeah, I know why you do that. It's
I got jealous.
Just wanted to point it out.
I also,
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, Creepy. I gotta go back through your channel and watch a few more videos. The only reason I keep myself from watching some of your videos sometimes is like, that thumbnail's tricking me into clicking on that, or
Yeah.
little bit of clickbait here and there. I'm just like, am I too good for this?
I love to clickbait. I love it. The current video I'm working on, it's gonna be such good clickbait. Oh my lord.
Alright, seamless cut. Nobody will notice anything.
You only lit the fire in the background.
Yeah, I mean the fire just popped out nowhere, but it's fine.
Just say that
People won't know.
just say that the fire was what's powering our camera equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. Sorry, I ran around my house trying to look for spare earphones anywhere I could find. But yes, I need to buy better new ones. But yes,
got like
I
another
thought you fell asleep, dude.
25 minutes or so. Yeah.
we have another.
I mean, I don't have to be anywhere, but.
Gotcha. We have another 30 minutes. Well, let's move on to the second part. Okay, let's move on to the second part of the Foxcast of the podcast. Foxhole itself. Now, I need to ask you the obvious question. 1.0. What are some predictions? What are some things that you think they need to fix? And what are you really, really hoping that they won't add or won't change?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, well, let's start with the things they've hinted at. Obviously, trains. I don't think anyone can deny it. That's like the most anticipated feature. Is it going to be in 1.0? Not guaranteed, but like it's pretty heavily implied that that's what they're working towards. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw trains in 1.0, the slightest. Possibly hinted at flamethrowers with that lore piece, but I don't know. That might be for a future update, but it's possible. So I'll throw that in there as well. With the trains comes probably updated logistical networks, probably a few more, logistically inclined infrastructure in the game somehow. I don't know. New cranes or maybe loading ports. That's the things we're somewhat sure about. The things we're unsure about is everything else. I think there might be some infantry combat updates, because I know that they said they were working on that, but then had to sideline for the long requested Logi update, which they delivered on half of the points. Other than that, I'm really not sure. What the hell just happened?
My lord, major offense.
Oh, GG. All right.
Yes. Well, we're gonna have to go to the front later on. Better finish up this interview quick. Anyways, no, but the other thing, I know they've said they most likely won't be adding aircraft ever into Foxhole, just because of the complexity of it and whether or not it'll actually be useful or overpowered or whatever. But if they were ever going to do it, 1.0 would be the time to do it. That would complete the whole land, sea, and air warfare aspect of the game. But again, that seems like a way out there idea. My only other big prediction that I can reasonably see them doing is revamping the entirety of Resistance Phase, because that's been the one thing of anything in the game that they've always been disappointed that they've never been able to achieve properly. Because everyone knows Resistance Phase is just throwaway days. You build the fight pit and people fight in it for a day, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, that's basically. It's just it's just time for both sides to. I think it'd be cool if you gave an opportunity for both sides to come together in a better way. But I don't have any solutions. I'm not here to give solutions. I'm just.
I mean, my idea for
know.
Resistance Phase has always been not. I'm not going to say multiplayer matches, but almost like multiplayer matches where you have a much shorter time frame, a much smaller scale scenario, like guerrilla warfare and stuff. And we've seen, concept uniforms for like guerrillas and irregular forces in Foxhole before. So I figured, like, hey, take one territory in this region. Let's say the collies won the war, and now they have to defend it from Warden partisans or Warden guerrillas. The Wardens have an hour to capture this town hall. They have like, hardly any gear, hardly any equipment, but collies have a limited number of lives. So just make it like small multiplayer matches. I think would make Resistance Phase at least a little bit more interesting. Maybe add a bit more to the lore, but also just have a vastly, a big change up in gameplay, and especially for, a lot of Resistance Phase kind of hinders the new players because they don't really get the true experience of Foxhole. But if you make it a different experience, something they can get quick and easy, experience by playing, that would maybe better suit them to prepare for the full experience of fighting in a larger scale war. I don't know. There's a million different ways you can tackle it, but that's always been kind of a sore spot in the cycle of playing the game, has been Resistance Phase. So I wouldn't be surprised if they at least tackled it in some way. Oh, and I guess another obvious change that's almost guaranteed is, the home regions are going to get a massive rework because there's so many new mechanics, there's so many new things to learn, and the home region hasn't seen an update since, I want to say, Arms Race Part 2, if I recall correctly. Or maybe even Part 1?
Didn't they add the tripod weapons into the shooting range?
Oh, okay, yeah. So they've made the minor changes, but I guess any of the larger scale changes, the restructuring of the home region, I suppose, not just adding new weapons or new vehicles to it, something more substantial, something to ease guiding new players, I suppose.
I just wish home region would give us access to like proper tanks, or vehicles without having to bring the materials up from the refinery to actually build them.
So I actually did have an idea about that, and I want the opinion from both of you. I know it's been expressed at some point, rather, I think, don't quote me on it, but I think one of the devs said something about, we don't want to give access to vehicles that aren't in the proper war yet, because then that would give the impression of, oh, we had them in the home region, why don't we have them here? What if the home region, you had access to some of those relic vehicles that you could at least train with? And lore-wise, that would make sense, because why would you put frontline vehicles in the rear line? Why not just use the old crap to train new crews to eventually stick them in new tanks, right? What do you think about that? This is an idea. Relic vehicles to train with. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense lore-wise, like you said.
The only problem I see with that is, like you said, they don't want to add any vehicles that are not in the current war. They might expect it to be that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think some of the relic vehicles, there's a very different playing style with them compared to,
That's true.
Actual tanks within the game or within the war at the time. But apart from that, I just want something that goes boom, so that we could get some basic tank training up, even if it's just like light tanks.
That's fair.
Or maybe just scout
and honestly,
tanks.
Even like
something.
Expanding the size of a lot of their training courses would help a lot, because if you think about it, there's nowhere you can actually like practice tank maneuvers with your regiment or whatever.
Exactly.
There's just not enough space. Like, I would love for a huge open farm field or two, maybe a couple small buildings to practice tank maneuvering. I think would help a lot. Everyone could perfect their most perfect battle line and then have it shattered once they realize there's trees in the way.
Yeah, most of the I know that most of the at least warden regiments, they do whenever they host training, they do it in the actual world map instead of home region. I just think it'd be so cool if, there were actual areas where clans could host training operations, or they could be, like, even if it's like a 1v1 dueling kind of sector. I don't know, I just wish there was at least like a big field where you could bring your vehicles up and...
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I guess the only other issue they would have to climb over with that is I know that the home region, I know they spawn multiple instances of the home region sometimes, depending on player numbers. So we might both be in the home region, but we might not be able to see each other even if we're standing on the same spot. That's the only other issue I can think of. But I don't know. I don't develop the game, so I can suggest whatever I want.
Yes. Well, what do you think are some things that the devs absolutely need to fix? Like, what are the most urgent issues plaguing Foxhole right now?
Ooh. I mean, there's kind of like the real list of things they should seriously take a look at, and there's kind of my personal list of things that I've always wanted to see changed, and there's not as much overlap between those two as a lot of people would probably hope. I mean, obviously, number-wise, alts aren't that huge, but obviously the perception of them is a huge problem. So some way of dealing with that, negating that, whatever you want to call it. There's been a million suggestions. I'm not going to spout another one here, but it is something that needs to be looked at, improved upon, or I don't know, maybe it's going to be like back in the day I used to play Rainbow Six Siege, and during the I think it was the third season or fourth season is when they really started to crack down on hackers, and you would just see waves of people getting banned for using hacks, and it was glorious. So I don't know, maybe they're just saving up all their known alts for 1.0 and they're just gonna make one big ban hammer swing. I don't know.
They're just writing down names.
Again, I don't know any of this for a fact. I'm just shooting the shit. Right, but like, that's one way to send a message, right?
Yeah, I guess it's just ban every known hacker or cheeser.
Or better yet, make little cages in the home region and
just place
known alters. You just stick their character model in there and they can't leave.
Yeah. Oh, every time they try and join the game, they spawn there and they can't get out.
Just use them as an example to others. They can fill in like a fake POW camp, but then you'd have to probably run that by Steam ethics or whatever, however Steam is rated, and
holy
that
shit,
probably wouldn't fly too well.
You want an actual gulag for Jesus?
Think about the immersion.
That would be pretty immersive, but that'd be pretty disturbing at the same time, I think.
Oh, as if we haven't done worse in the game ourselves. So yeah, obviously that's an issue.
Yeah.
What other things?
Okay, boys.
Yeah.
I am ready. I'm sorry that I haven't been very active. It's because I was hacking the devs, okay? And it's definitely not because I was making images during the stream or during the recording.
Well, you better share them with the rest of us at some point.
Are you ready?
Yes. I have leaked images of the dev 1.0.
Oh my god.
What is coming?
No way. Has the time come?
There. Yeah, the time has come.
Okay. Do you
have you heard of Project BBBB?
What now?
Project BBBB.
Like B is in the letter, or B is in like the animal?
No, as the letter, yeah. 4 B's.
Okay. 4 B's.
Like, yeah, not B's, but like alphabet. Yeah.
Do you want me to show your screen on the recording?
Does that stand for big booty bunker bases?
Oh, it's very close.
That's surprisingly close.
It's very close. It's very close. I will share my screen, gentlemen. Please, find your discords. Oh, that's the wrong.
Yep, I'm in the call.
Right.
That's horrifying.
I'm leaking. All right. This is leaked information. Okay. Highly sensitive.
Yes.
Highly
Let's look at this.
Can't believe how close I was.
Don't laugh. This is a serious matter. Okay. Big booty battle.
I was just laughing because of how accurate I was.
Oh yeah.
See, this is what happens when you play the game for years. You just have inside intel on everyone and everything that happens in the game.
It's a really
I
good
have
picture of
been
the barge.
talking about the BBBs for so long. It's crazy. And finally we have proof, and this is definitely not made up. So, what is the big booty battle barge? Well, it is a battle barge. A battle barge where you can put where you can put tripod weapons on. Any tripod weapons you wish.
Oh.
When a barge is killed, the tripod weapon is deleted. That's to simulate that the weapon is sinking. So, it's harder.
Yeah, of course.
Uh-huh.
Take the weapons. When the barge is disabled, it can't shoot its tripod weapons. No fuel drifting is not affected. This might sound weird, but this is to help with this part, which is illustrated in this lovely image
Is there
here.
on the right?
What? What do you mean? There's nothing on the right.
Oh, you
Which is
use
demonstrated
Bobcat
with
as
this
the wardens.
Yeah. This is in-game footage, by the way. Don't worry.
Is Pudsey drowning in the water?
Oh, that's fish. Don't worry about it.
You use a happy
That's
emoji
okay.
for me as well. You don't have a crying emoji as
mean?
well, right?
What you mean? You think this fish is happy?
Oh.
He's drowning right now.
No, keep going. Don't let me.
How much
So, yeah,
time
this
did you
is
spend on
a,
this?
Very long.
This looks
I
so
didn't
professional.
spend any time on this. I was given this information by my
I want you to
inside
use this
source.
as the thumbnail for a video.
I did not know. This is not my. Again, this is not from me. This is inside information from the devs.
Did you use
So, yeah, this is
Sketchpad to get the barge pictures?
I did.
No,
I
it's
didn't
from the
use
devs.
anything.
Didn't you listen to him?
Oh shit! Sorry.
How many times do I have to repeat myself? It's
Yeah.
not from me. It's from the devs. God damn it.
Pass this down to you.
Okay. Yeah. So pretty cool. Look, even I am in there, dude. Look, I'm super cool. Oh yeah. Okay, so
How
that was the
boring.
battle part. Now, of course, the most anticipated part, the BBBs, the booty. This is the booty.
I laughed way harder than I should have.
Why are you
Those
laughing?
sandbags?
It looks like SpongeBob's ass.
Yes. This is a serious matter. Stop laughing, guys, please.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
So, barges can speed boost by holding down shift. It consumes fuel faster, and you cannot fuel up a barge while the ramp is up. So, pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I don't have to explain this, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty elite.
And the big part is about the health. And of course the
69
cost.
RMAX.
It's a perfectly reasonable amount of RMATs, I feel like.
Didn't even use the
What do you
same
guys think?
font.
What do you mean? This is how the devs wrote it.
Wait, that's not even a font. You just drew a 9 that looks like a G.
What do you mean?
Oh my
What do
Oh
you
no,
mean?
sorry. It's
These are
clearly a work
official
in progress.
documents.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
okay.
This is
It's a
yeah,
prototype.
Yeah. It's a prototype. Yeah. Okay, these are all the images,
yeah.
boys.
Okay.
What do you guys think? This is pretty cool, right?
You spelled health wrong. Triple health. No.
Again, it's not me, it's the devs.
Yeah, the dev spelled.
Wait, no, he spelled health right.
Did he?
Ask about BBP. Did you open up a document just to write that down?
What? No.
That's amazing. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I know they said there was going to be a naval update this summer, which is probably being pushed back to this autumn, which is probably going to be pushed back to the winter. But honestly, I think they should delete all the naval vehicles and start over with them. Like, the barges, I'm sorry, big booty battle barge, but just a really ugly model. Like,
Nice.
it's such an
What do you
ugly
mean?
vehicle.
He's against
and
the
also
big booty barge.
It's not super
Wow.
conducive to naval
Oh my
landings.
god.
The gunboat needs a rework to be more flexible. Why is
Is that what it was based off of?
Maybe.
Oh my
I
god.
forgot that image of Callahan exists.
Oh my god. I can tell that's the PNG I sent you because the arms it's not cropped out. If you look at the arm area, it's still filled in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, look
Yeah,
at the
you
arms.
sent me one. Couple,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the one I.
Stop
Yeah.
bringing,
Oh, what the
stop
hell?
bringing up that image of heresy. Stop
What
it.
do you mean?
Oh,
This is beautiful
that's such
art.
an elite picture. My God.
God.
Okay, we're done here. All right, I'm going. I'm
Okay,
going
I'm
back
gonna
to the
stop. I'm gonna
Foxhole.
stop.
I'm going back to the
Okay.
Foxhole stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
all right, back to reality.
What do you mean?
Sad
That's
reality
leaked
where the
images.
big booty barge doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's truly upsetting.
I mean, yeah, I'm. You know, in a funny way, I don't know if I'm more excited for 1.0 or the eventual naval update, because I've really wanted some changes to naval warfare. I will. Well, I've made a suggestion about it already. I might make a video out of that suggestion at some point.
What was that suggestion?
Way too big to explain here, but basically a full rework of naval warfare, including new amphibious landing vehicles, and basically the whole crux of it was revolved around, instead of white whale landing ships actually landing on the beach, you just basically park them offshore and then load up into them via like net ladders, kind of like how they did it on D-Day, and then just sail ashore on smaller APCs and such like that.
And you need like.
Because my idea was, instead of having a single point of focus on the beach that either is successful and everyone pushes out from it, or it just gets camped by like 5 machine guns and then you just have to whittle it down until it dies. You park the ship offshore so that you can do wave attacks with APCs on the beach and actually, you know, give people that chance to be part of a landing rather than, you know, park the white whale, everyone go, and then the landing either succeeds or it doesn't. It can actually be something that's more sustained over time.
Yeah, that's interesting because that requires some sense of naval supremacy so that your landing ship doesn't get destroyed.
Right, exactly, and that gives naval vessels more opportunity and more jobs to actually, you know, perform. Obviously, you'd have to have a whole suite of vehicles, of naval vehicles, to go along with that, but it does give chances for things like potentially submarines, maybe, to actually have more viability to them. Because, you know, what are submarines going to do right now? Hope to catch up to one of these big booty barges and sink it? Yeah, right.
They would never
That's
catch
just
up.
fast.
They would never.
It would never catch up. But a parked
dumb
white
to
whale
fit.
offshore, that's something to sink. Anyways, you know, I could talk about ideas, you know, that I dream up at work all day long, but until we have any confirmation, all we can do is say, hey, they're going to do a naval update at some point in the future. I'm excited about it, and maybe new coastal guns based off some of the artwork.
I mean, from the devs, we've heard that there is a naval update coming. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, I think that's really cool. Like, especially after like just 1.0, that they said that they're gonna continue the game, give it minor and major updates, even though they're like working on Anvil at the same time. So I don't know. I think that keeps me that keeps me excited for the game, because I think the game kind of gets stale after a while. You get burnt out. You know, you do a lot of things, and I don't know, new content always stirs the pot around a little bit. So I'm really excited for 1.0. I'm sure you guys are as well, as content creators. Are you guys gonna make a 1.0 guide?
Hell yeah.
I'm probably going to do some 1.0 guides. I don't know if it's going to be the same style of like my first, you know, Foxhole guides, but I will most likely do some sort of guide videos, maybe like 10 tips or something, you know, just something basic to help people out.
Oh, like tutorial? Oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. Guide videos. Too much work, too much scripting. Oh god.
They do take a lot of scripting.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the most, even just when I do the update videos, like the larger updates, like for most of the like regular smaller updates, I'll just go to the patch notes and I'll like read them, and then sometimes I'll change the order of a few things, you know, like maybe they talk about trucks in 2 different sections, and I'll put those next to each other, just like, well, might as well get all the truck stuff out of the way. But like, especially like when I think back to Winter Army and stuff, I actually had to take the entire patch notes and rewrite an actual like 3 to 4 page script for it, because there was just so much information to get across. But that still is not the worst part of doing those videos. The worst part is having to edit the audio for any audio pops or anything. That is the worst. I have to spend like an hour listening to myself talk, which is already annoying enough as is, but then I have to go back and listen for an audio pop, back up like 2 seconds, delete it, and then do that like 50 to 100 times. Yeah. That's
All
always
the
annoying.
struggles of being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Struggles.
This was it was self-imposed pain too. That's the worst thing, so I have no excuse.
Yeah, it's a hobby as well.
True.
It was voluntary. Yeah, I don't have the same struggles as you guys. I don't even make the same type of videos. Although I was thinking about expanding into guides and like tips and longer videos. Like I was thinking about making, since I recently hit 1,000 hours in the game, I was thinking maybe a 1,000-hour review. But then kind of the scope of script writing and then the editing and then, you know, just forming everything out kind of dawned on me, and it's kind of intimidating. But
You know, I have found over the years, especially with some of the larger video projects I've done, it really helps not to think about it like as a whole. Just do little bits and pieces here and there. Chop it down into smaller bits. That helps a lot. Like even with the larger. So before, in the early days, I used to basically, you know, record all the footage in game for an update video. Do the audio recording for the script or the patch notes in one go, edit that recording in one go, and then slap, you know, the audio and the video together and hammer that out, upload it, and that was that. But later on in the process, I want to say around Arms Race or whatever, I started doing smaller bits of it. So instead of doing that whole process that I just explained, what I do is just like, okay, they're introducing 2 new vehicles. Let me record the vehicles. Let me record the audio, edit the audio. The entire clip is like 2 minutes long. Much, you know, I can hammer the entire thing out from start to finish in like a half hour. And then I would just do that for like a week straight with all the different pieces, you know, one day's the weapons, one day's the tanks, one day's balance changes or whatever. And then at the end, I would just have to clip like or slap, you know, 5 larger video files together and then just export that. And there was no pain of having to sift through like a 20-minute audio recording and clean up the entire audio for that. It was all in like 2-minute chunks. It was so much nicer that way. So you'd always be surprised of how much easier a large task is once you divide it into smaller pieces.
So divvy it up.
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite, bro. I go full hard. I go 2 days of full editing. Red Bulls popping. Not leaving the room. I go hard.
2 different
But
styles
it's not
of
healthy, so
YouTubers.
you shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Well,
it's really bad.
fair enough.
Alright, gentlemen, the time is up. The time has been
Oh
fun.
man, already?
Yeah, but the time has run out. I'm sorry. Now, I mean, is there anything that you want to say to the audience before you go? Any last words? I mean, we'd love to have you back on someday. Maybe like after 1.0 we can talk about that. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. But yeah, this has
Sure,
really been
if
fun.
I'm not too exhausted by then.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is, I've definitely been, weird as it is to say these words, I've been saving myself for 1.0.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
even when I've had the motivation to hop on and play the last couple of wars,
That's a great
I've kind of kept myself off of it. That and I'm remodding Skyrim, but say what you want about that. But I know the second 1.0 hits, it's gonna be tough, but I'm going to attempt to play every day that war.
Oh.
And
Right.
I am fully aware that that war might go well beyond, what was the record, 36 days.
Yeah, that's gonna be
So,
a long war, I think.
It's gonna be big,
Yeah,
no matter what.
yeah, it's gonna be. I'm sure I'll regret saying it, and well, we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, on my part, I know
other
that all
than
the
that,
Warden
like-
clans are getting ready. All of them are preparing
Yeah.
for 1.0, so it's gotta be big. I'm sure the collies are as well.
Yeah, other than that, all I'm gonna say is like I always appreciate it if, you know, don't ever feel the need to, but I always appreciate it when people run up to me in game and say hi or cool to see you here or whatever, you know. For all its flaws, I do still love this game because it's basically not to stir too much shade, but it's basically the Battlefield game I always wanted. It's everything that the Battlefield games had, which is like massive scale, lots of explosions, but it actually has the teamwork that game lacks. So you go into a battle, like Battlefield 1, one of my favorite games, probably of all time. You hop into a match of that, there's 10 snipers sitting in the back while you're supposed to be attacking. It's just like, well, that doesn't really help. That doesn't help us take the objectives. That doesn't help make the match, go forward at all. But in Foxhole, it's different. Someone calls for a bayonet charge, and 10 people fucking bayonet charge, and that is awesome. I don't know many other games that pull that kind of stuff off without ever actually telling the player to do that. People just do it. That's the kind of stuff I love seeing.
Foxhole really is special. You genuinely feel like a cog in a big war machine. And I think that's why we all love Foxhole. It's a very special game, very unique. But yes. Okay, so do you know how we usually end things? We ended while driving away.
Driving on.
Yeah, driving away into the distance. Oh god.
Okay.
Hop on in. Oh my god.
Other side.
No,
sorry. Yeah. Is
My
it
god,
locked?
It's okay. Just let me check the front radiator here on the bus.
Oh.
What?
Just let me check the front radiator here on the bus.
He's making sure the bus.
Oh,
is
you're
broken.
so strong. I can't move. You're inside the.
The radiator's good. We're
Weakest
good.
warden soldier. Okay. Yes.
Now let me just
You had a
take care
gun
of
up?
something while we're in the bus.
God.
Oh.
Oh, the studio. Oh shit.
Oh man, dude,
sorry.
that cost so much.
I'm a
fucking money.
learner driver. I'm sorry.
Anyways, but thank you for watching this episode of Foxcast. We hope you enjoyed. We do plan on having more guests on, but yes, thank you so much, I Saw a Bear, for joining us on this episode, and we hope to see you next week. I know I uploaded this on a Monday instead of a Sunday, but that's because, time zone issues, and we had to figure it all out with our schedules. But yeah, from this week, next week, and every other week, it should be on a Sunday, hopefully. And yeah, we hope to see you there. From all of us at Foxcast, bye!
Au revoir.